Hello, welcome back to the Optimizer's Guidebook. I'm your host Rodney, and today I want to go over a build concerning a class that, known in the optimization community, isn't exactly that powerful. I'm talking about the monk. Now, before I really get into the video, I wanted to make an apology about my previous video, the Level 2 Immortal. New information, I found out apparently that doesn't work outside of one encounter. Onyx has all those abilities, but it's only in one encounter. So kind of makes the aspect of the wild shape useless. I'm sorry for the misinformation, and I will work to try to be better in the future. Let's move on to what you guys came here to see. Now, in a previous video, I had kind of hinted at a way to make a monk deal upwards of 155 damage on an overround. I misspoke. I found a way to do more. Or actually, my math was wrong on it. There's a big confusion of the monk where, most people say it doesn't deal that great of damage. Then you have the other encampment that says, well, it doesn't need to. It's a skirmisher. It's designed to move in, move out, stunning machine, and just get it done. What if we can do both? What if we can actually make it be able to feasibly deal a decent amount of damage? And still still without armor. Unarmored. Yeah. There are a lot of ways to build the monk. Skirmisher, as I stated, shadow tactics, which we may delve into, but I think for this one, I'm going to go for the damage, and sneaky damage too. And I think the best way to do that is going with the most broken race that came out of Mordenkainen's Monsters of the Multiverse. Of course, I'm talking about the Bugbear. Now, the new Bugbear has a interesting stat block that got changed, and I'm sure most of you that's looked at this channel already knows it, but if you don't, there's a new ability that the Bugbear got when it got changed from its old sneak attack ability to what it has now. As a new surprise attack states, if you hit a creature with an attack roll, deal an extra 2d6 damage as long as the creature has not taken a turn yet in the current combat. Now, the old way is that it would only trigger on the first attack. But with a new one, you have a multitude of ways to make it work. You can use unarmed strikes, you can use weapons, you can use spell attacks, which Scorching Ray, Eldritch Blast, that seems to be a very popular one for spellcasters. One of the main builds I've seen with Bugbear is Gloomstalker, Fighter, Assassin Rogue, I think. None of them mention the monk, which I'm kind of okay with because it lets me, talk up a way to actually make the monk deal some decent damage. So if we're going to start a Bugbear monk, what better way than 3 levels of Fighter? Wait. No, sorry, that comes later. So without further ado, let's jump into the build and see what we have going on here. We're really going to be capitalizing on that first turn of combat. So of course what we need is to make sure that ultimate goal is to win initiative, get as many attacks in as possible, and deal as much damage as we can reliably as possible. So with that, of course, we're going to be starting monk. So our Bugbear's background may be that he studied with ancient monks, learning their secrets, learning how to deal in the ways of the shadow arts, slip in and out unnoticed. And he's learned a lot. He always had been the odd one out with longer reach, and seemingly if he hit first, he would go deal more damage. So I think probably the best way to start with this is with 6 levels, well, at the very least 3 levels of monk. Now I'm wanting to get to the extra attack first and foremost before I really started multi-classing, but you can start 3 then multi-class out. But for now, I think we're going to go the first 5 into Monk. With our first 5 levels into Monk, now for your proficiencies, choose what you wish. But what we're going to do is go Insight, Athletics, Brewer's Supplies, just pick your flavor there. For the Tradition, as I kind of hinted at, we're going to go Shadow. Now the reason that we're going Shadow is twofold. As it gets deeper into Monk, we're going to be able to teleport freely in darkness, and that's kind of where we want to spend a lot of time, is in dim light or darkness, to make things, the teleportation later on, much easier. But now let's say we don't have that option. Well, at the very least, with the 3rd level into Shadow Monk, you're going to have Pass Without a Trace. It's going to give you plus 10 to your already fantastic stealth modifier. Things are going to get better from here. You can pick different on here, but I'm just decided to have a little fun with this. And for our 4th level, we're actually going to go Skill Expert. And with Skill Expert, we're going to nab Sleight of Hand and taking Expertise in Athletics. Now, the reason for that is, while we're not going to have a great strength score, monks are still pretty decent at grappling. And that may be useful in a little bit, because that way we can actually grapple and do other things, try to get enemies out of combat, or at least diminish their abilities past the first round. And we're going to bump our dex here as well, putting it to an 18. Now right here, we have Stunning Strike and Extra Attack. Fantastic. So this stage, we are a Monk 5. If we flurry, we have a initiative score of +4 from our dex, and we can hit upwards of 4 times on the first turn of combat if we flurry of blows. Now, if we can actually go first, we're looking at 4 attacks. Going Unarmed Strike, we have a D6 for a martial arts die right now. So, if we hit first. That is a 4d6 plus 16 for the modifier on damage, plus 8d6 for the sneak attack damage from Bugbear. With the average of that being, I believe, being 58 damage. That in and of itself is pretty great for a monk to deal at level 5. Now, again, these are assuming that all 4 attack hits. Vacuum, more than likely, not all of them are going to hit. But one of the benefits of being level 5 in monk is you at least have the ability to burn a key point and add +2 to your attack. So it does increase your chance to hit pretty dramatically. Now, from here, you may have decided that you wanted to learn more. You wanted to start being a little more hands-on with the weapons. Your masters may have even brought you into the fold a little bit to start teaching you some of the more hidden methods to make your attacks. Ways to bring those strikes, move faster, hit harder before you're ever even noticed. Maybe even hiding in darkness so well that those that are adapted to the darkness can't even see you. And that is from where here we're going to go is 3 levels into Gloomstalker Ranger. We're going Deft Explorer. We're going to be picking our different styles, Perception, of course, Decaying Favored Foe, all the optional features that we're grabbing. For fighting style, we're going to start is actually going to be dueling fighting style to add a little bit more damage. Because what we're going to try to do is probably be using a rapier for a lot of our attacks, with the flurry of blows being unarmed strikes, of course. Here we pick our ranger archetype, and we're going Gloomstalker Ranger. Now, the big reason for this, as I'm sure most of you already know, is the Dread Ambusher ability. One, you could add your Wisdom modifier to your initiative, so that gives us an extra +3 at this level. we get to be completely invisible to any creatures that rely on dark vision to see us. And third, and most importantly, is we get to have another attack. And if we on our first round of combat, and if we make that attack, we get to add an extra D8 to the damage. Pretty nice, pretty nice. So let's do a quick damage recap here. We have a +7 now. We have a +7 now to initiative. So that means we have a more reliable way of going first, which is what we want. We don't have to beat out everyone, just at the very least one person, one enemy. So if we hit, again assuming all hit, looking at and using a key point for flurry of blows, we're looking at the damage output of, we're using a rapier here, so we're looking at a damage output of 4d8. We're doing the normal 3d8 because of the first 3 attacks, plus an additional d8, plus 12 from the modifier, plus 2d6 from our flurry of blows, plus 8 from the modifier on that, plus 10d6 from the sneak attack, plus a d4 if we use the favored foe ability of the ranger. So this puts us to an average damage 88.5 damage. Wow. And keep in mind, that's one, assuming they all hit. You're probably going to have to spend a key point or 2 to make sure they hit. And that's assuming an armor class of about 16. But being able to spend only 1 key point, if they all hit, to deal 5 attacks reliably, and we can do this at the first round of combat all the time as long as we have at least 1 key point. And again, I know I'm assuming that all of these hit. That's very few and far between, but we have a decent attack to hit with, even without a full magic weapon. We're still going to be able to deal damage, but you're one of the best weapons you can get. Of course, you know, there's +1, +2, +3, whatever. But to get a rapier of warning, 1, we can't be alarmed or surprised. But even better than that is it gives us an advantage on our initiative. We're level 8 right now. I'd say by this point you probably would have been able to have a decent uncommon item. I would probably pick Rapier of Warning if you can get it. Advantage on initiative is going to make it even better. Something else I want to point out is you're not just your first hit and done. No. Because you're still a ranger, you're still, you know, decent monk. So you can actually hit the next turn. You can Hunter's Mark as a bonus action if you wanted to, and then make 2 attacks. Now, granted, those attacks, if just using a rapier, may not be the best damage. It's not really that much at all. I think it's 1d8 plus 6 plus, or sorry, 1d8 plus 1d6 plus 6 times 2. Not really that great in the damage department. But from there you can start kind of snowballing and dealing a little bit more. Or you can go, you have expertise in athletics, so I think you have a +8 right now in athletics. So at the very least, next turn you could try to grapple someone and shove them prone to give your allies advantage on their melee attacks. You have a good assortment of things you can do. So you're not just the initial, you know, hit first round, be done. You have options. Now, from here, our character has delved deeper into the world of shadows, learning even more from his masters and his master's masters. Learning weaponry, how to quickly regain health in combat. But learning a very, very hidden secret. A secret to be able to attack, effectively be in 2 places at once, which didn't seem possible until now. So from being able to hit in the shadows, we're probably going to be taking for the next levels. And I'm sure you already understand where we're going. We're going Echo Knight. The reason we're going Echo Knight is for a few reasons. The biggest ones being is that it's going to give us the biggest numbers for our Nova round damage. Total of our attacks when we action surge, or when we make our first 5 attacks, those 3 with Gloomstalker, the extra 2 from Flurry of Blows. When we action surge, we still can do Gloomstalker again, so that's another 3 attacks. And during the time frame of those attacks, our first set, we're going to unleash Incarnation. When we action surge, we're going to unleash again. That is 10 attacks that we're going to be doing on our massive Nova round. Now, granted, that's just one time a day when we're going that hard at everything. But when we're going that hard, it usually has a purpose to unleash, to deal all that damage. You're probably facing the big bad at that point. So for what we're choosing here is the fighting style. The fighting style, I feel it would be a good call to I kind of jumped back and forth between blind fighting and archery. Blind fighting is incredible. Most of what you're going to be doing is melee. But on those instances where you're going to have to fight ranged, I feel it's good to have a range option. And taking the archery fighting style is it is one of the best styles. Being able to give a +2 to your attacks. And hopefully by this point you're level 11, you should be able to have some enhanced bow. Now for those that are unfamiliar with it, the Manifest Echo basically allows you, bring it up so that way anyone that wants to can read it. It allows you to have a copy of yourself out at all points, being able to put it up to 30 feet away from you to make attacks. It can even make opportunity attacks. Anyone that attacks it, if they hit, it just poofs. And then if you want to, next bonus action, bring it out again. Completely free, you can do this unlimited number of times. Now, some DMs may not let this be even played because it's from an Eberron book, but, talk to your DM. See what they say. Worst they can say is no. If they say no, you at least have that the Gloomstalker Shadow Monk, which 88.5 damage pretty reliably is nothing to sneeze at. And that damage is going to keep you here, or going to keep you pretty well off up to your 3rd level of fighter. Because, like I said, that's when everything's going to go big time. So, with your full Nova round, your full 10 attacks, going to be 10 d8s plus 48 for the modifier, plus 2d6 plus 8 plus a d4 from the favored foe, plus 20d6 from your sneak attack damage. That puts your total damage at 45 plus 48 plus 7 plus 8 plus 2.5 plus 70. These are all on the averages to equal 180.5 average damage that you are going to be dealing. Wow. Now, granted, you are only a 5th level monk right now. You're a level 11 character, 5th level monk. Your dexterity is only an 18. So you're not 100% of your maximum damage, but you're still pretty reliable for most of what you're going to be doing is monk stuff. And being able to have the Echo Knight out constantly is kind of a way of a shield in a sense, because you can just protect yourself from attacks or let it get the attack and you still be far off in the back. It's still not bad for constant damage. At the Nova damage for that one, for 180 damage on average for the Nova, it's pretty nice. And then your average damage on the start of every combat, if you win initiative, was 88.5. That's pretty incredible for a lot of characters, much less a monk. Now for our spells, of course, we're going to pick, Hunter's Mark, in case we need, to just avoid something. I'm sorry, absorb. We're going to pick absorb elements. For just in case those dragon breaths, we're going to pick Hunter's Mark, which normally I try to avoid because it's usually a little bit of a trap, but for this build, we're going to be hitting at least past the second round, or from second round on, averaging about probably 2 or 3 times around, either flurry of blows, spending a key point for it, or dedicated weapon, something of that. And then for the third, Goodberry's pretty good, so we'll go Goodberry. As we see the point layout 10, 15, 14, 8, 15, and 8. Now, granted, the dex and the wisdom get pumped up to an 18 and a 16. And our character's name is Hard Hit Done Quick. I feel that fit very well for him. For languages, pick what you want. For the background, I feel probably Mercenary Veteran, at the very least, kind of fits the theme. From here, we're going to go with our equipment. I'd like to go for the equipment add stuff, but I think because most of what we're doing is going to be pretty monkish, maybe go gold by root and add, get a rapier when you can and get a longbow. You're going to be unarmored most of the time on this, and those are basically the 2 things you need. Longbow, go longbow, have the archery fighting style, and if you spend a key point, you get to fire the arrow again, so that's pretty nice. You don't have to deal with the issues that come up with crossbows, even though hand crossbow, sharpshooter, crossbow expert kind of is one of the standards for long range. So yeah, that puts us to, for now, and this is where we're going to pause on the character, is at level 11. You're 5 levels in Monk, 3 in Fighter, 3 in Ranger, and from here I would just take Monk all the way, all the rest of the way. You get more key, you get next level to Shadow Teleport, unlimited, not costing key. You still have Pass Without a Trace, which is going to make you near invisible to most things. You're already proficient in stealth. Your expertise in stealth, I'm sorry. See, from here, you're pretty golden. Your armor class is 17, not fantastic, but still not bad for where you are. You're a level 11 character that can hit on, for your first round combat, reliably 88.5 damage for spending 1 key point. Your Nova is 180.5 once a day if you've blown both your Unleashed Incarnations. You have expertise in athletics, so you have better grapple and shove chances to help your teammates. You have expertise in stealth, so that's a plus 12. You can pass without a trace, which is another 10. So that puts you on modifier alone 22 to your stealth. You could roll a nat 1 and you're still at 23, which is beating, I think, like 80% of something like that of the monsters in the game, which is just nuts. So you should reliably also be able to even surprise them. I don't know how your DM will play the surprise round, but see how it goes. So there you have it. Hard hit done quick. Being able to put out those damage numbers is impressive for a lot of characters, but especially a monk who most people would actually look at it and don't view Monk as that hard of a hitting character. I'm one of them. But seeing the Bugbear actually made it different. To me now, I think that it's almost, if you're going Monk, it's almost, if you're going for damage at least, it's near mandatory to take the Bugbear for the extra damage if you can find a way to hit first. I'm not saying you have to, it's, you choose how you play your character. Just for damage optimization, I think that's it. Maybe I'm wrong. Let me know in the comments. Let me know what you think is the best combination for the Bugbear. I saw something today, I think, where Treant Monk's Temple put out Bugbear Fighter Wizard, which incredible based on Scorching Ray. Absolutely incredible. Let me hear what your multi-class is for the bugbear. Or maybe just an idea for a video. I'm really interested in what you guys have to say. I want to learn more from you guys, and I want to be able to put out more videos that you guys would really love to see. So please let me know some ideas in the comments. So there's our bugbear. Do you like it? Hate it? Love it? Already over bugbear? Let me know. Hopefully I've earned your subscription, and hopefully you want to see more videos like this in the future, or other variations. Speaking of other variations, I was thinking the other day. Right now, most people would agree, there's a way to get quote unquote triple advantage. You know, be an elf, have a way to get advantage, have the elven accuracy feat, so you can, get triple advantage by rolling 3d20. Which is nice. It's fantastic. But what if there was a way to roll 5d20 to near guarantee that you're making that hit? Intrigued? It'll be a video coming out soon of how to roll 5d20 for, in a sense, quintuple advantage. Stay tuned.